Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Today's video is going to be a good one. We're going to be talking about our bug out bags. Now, we're not going to go through the whole bug out bag today, but we are going to talk about 10 things that you need in your bug out supply, or in your bug out car, or in your bug out bag, whatever you want to call it. Make sure you have these things at your access where you can grab and go and get to safety and survival. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's video. It starts right now. So we see Aiden's bag he's got on. We're going to be talking about some of these things that's on my bag and also his. We have one each, of course. We carry at least one or two if we're going somewhere. If we're going to town, then mine stays pretty much in the vehicles. If we go far off, or we're going on vacation, or we're going out of town, we basically take two bags. But for the most part, we keep one. Now, Aiden's bag is almost set up just like mine. We have these at about 40 to 45 pounds. Aiden's a pretty nice size stature kid, so he can pretty much, are you a kid?
We can go with that.
Basically about 45 pounds worth of gear on this bag. He can carry it with no issue. Also, I can carry mine with no issue. Now, if you are a little bit older or you're a lady, this may be a little heavy. If Misty had to carry this, it would be pretty much kind of hard because she weighs only about 100 pounds. So we would take some of these things out. Now, we're not going over the whole pack today, but we are going to be going over some of the main staples in our bug out bags. They're set up to where mostly they're having the same things in them. His has a little bit different in some tools. Mine have a little bit different in some tools. So, but for the most part, we're going to talk about 10 common items that we have in both packs. When we talk about our bug out bags, now we have, I mean, literally probably hundreds of things in our bug out bag. But we're going to really talk about 10 subjects or 10 mini subjects and some of the tools that go along with those subjects when we're making our bug out bag and bug out supplies. Now, the thing you need to think about is when we say we're using this or we're using that, we're going to talk about this, number one or number two. Sometimes it may not pertain to you. You need to think about your area. Here in the South, we go through rainy seasons. We go through very hot seasons. We don't go through very, very, very frigid seasons. So things like blankets and things like, depending on your gear that you're putting on, that may not pertain to us the same way it will to you in the northern climate. So just be thinking about that too. A lot of this stuff is universal, but some things you need to think about where you live and how it can benefit you versus maybe how it can benefit us. So number one is water. Water filtration. Water is a main source of what we need. More than anything else that we do with our bug out bag, we want to make sure that we're covering the basis of water. Said when it comes to water, I want to show you a few things that you need to think about. So first would be, there's life straws or membrane solutions or Sawyer filters, anything that you're wanting to utilize for water filtration. These are all water filtration. There's Sawyer, there's life straws, all those are options, but they're ready-made. If you come to a stream or you come to a body of water and you don't know if it's safe, this is your best option to have, is some kind of filtration system for your water. These are easy. We don't even open them up. We have several of these. We have 8 people in our family, so we want to make sure we have a lot of filtration systems for quick, easy made water right there on the go. Now past this, let's talk other items. So we carry 2 stainless steel cups. One is a little bowler. We have 2 of these actually. They're very lightweight. They hold 750 milliliters. They're able to be put right directly on the fire. And then also we carry another stainless steel cup to be able to pour it in. So if we're boiling water, this is another form of purification of making sure your water is safe enough to drink. We talk about filtration, we talk about water. Now say for instance you're still worried about that. Coleman, and there's other brands that sell this, but they're just neutralizing tablets, purification water tablets. You usually can pick these up in any camping store for just really a few dollars. I think I paid like 10 to 15 bucks for those, so not a big deal there. This is a little carrying case for this little stainless steel pot. We got 2 of these hooked to my bag. These are collapsible cups. This is able to fit and hook right to your bag. Now show how it opens up. So you see the space it gains. Same way with this. This is a collapsible cup and bowl here to where if you're eating soup or you're heating up water and you're needing to use it, it's flat, but also it pops right out and becomes a silicone bowl. Just another form to have that's very good. So water would be key. Filtration, something for boiling and putting on fire, something for purification if you don't have any of these options, and then a way to use it without having to bind these up. Because say for instance we have 8 people, we boil the water, we need something to pour it in until these are back ready to be put back on the fire to do the same thing again. If it's boiling water, boiling food, it's very key to have all these items, or at least 2 or 3 of these items. Number 2 is going to be light and fire. We have a flashlight. Now this is a rechargeable flashlight that we use. When we talk about flashlights, we try to find one, such as our O lights or our big lights like these LED lights. We want to make sure that they have a huge charging capabilities and that they can run for days. So when you're buying a flashlight, pay a little bit more, get a quality flashlight that is heavy lumened, but also uses LED and it does not burn a lot of its battery down and can be rechargeable universally, especially if you have a way to charge. Along with that, we have ways to start a fire. So you have these little tenders that you can buy if you don't trust yourself in starting a fire. They sell these, what they call wet fires. You can pick these up at any kind of camping store. Aiden also has in his bag, I think you have some like kindling that you keep that's just kind of wrapped up in some burlap or wool. We also have magnesium and striking stones. We have flint steels, just basic oil lighters, oilless lighters. This oilless lighters one we featured in another video. It also plugs in with the USB and it lights by basically electricity and also has a light on it. But both of those things are key because again, when this one runs out, you know, if it runs out of its butane or oil, lighter oil that is in there, you have things like this that will last pretty much forever. The ableness to make a fire using some kind of tinder, if you're not cutting in or finding the wood, if it's wet, you need something like this to be able to get your fire started. These are forever matches. Aiden has this in his bag.
Fill this with just lighter fluid, and at the end of this rod there's flint and a wick. When you strike this, because there's a piece of steel, it'll cause a spark and light the wick. If the wick has enough oil, it will burn.
A way that you can have matches but that are not susceptible to water. It closes up, seals off, and again, another source of fire. The glow stick, these are good. If you buy them, you buy 2 or 3 of these for just quick lighting. Now sometimes you want to do is light up where you're at or what you're doing, but there's some cases where you need light. These are easy, you break them, they're 12 hours, they're waterproof. We have about 6 of those. It's always good to have some way to have light. Light is security so you can see, but also that you can have fire to cook with, to boil your water. It is key. So number 2 would be fire, light, and a source of security there. So number 3 would be a sleeping bag. This is where you would carry a wool blanket or insulated blanket or a thicker sleeping bag. Now again, in the South, we don't deal with the frigid weather like some people do. Coldest days are sometimes in the teens, and that may be one night. Other than that, we're pretty much in the 20s and 30s in the coolness of the season, or even hotter. Now this is what's key for us, is things like rain gear, because in our area, if we don't have extra socks, we don't have extra rain gear, we don't have ways to deal with humidity and rain, that could be more detrimental to us. We have hammocks, we have a lot of snakes, a lot of creatures that run our grounds. So instead of putting a tent up, we like to go with the hammocks, and you can cover them up with any kind of Tyvek tarp or any kind of tarps that you're carrying alongside with you. These emergency blankets, now you can buy any of these. You can pick these up at any camping store, any Walmart. They're dirt cheap. They're just a way that you can keep warm, help you with temperatures, and pretty much just retain body heat. It's waterproof. Just another way to cover yourself in shelter. Number 3 would definitely be shelter. Again, when you're looking for a bug out bag, make sure it has a lot of compartments, make sure it has a lot of attachments. We have ways that we can hook things all on the side of ours, along with that sleeping bag on the bottom, even down to all this stuff pretty much can be hooked to the outside if it needs to be. 4 would be simply a knife or multi-tool, skinning knife, fillet knife, multi-tool knife, and just a multi-tool period. Now, all these we either carry on us or carry on the actual bug out bag. So on Aiden's, we have a lot of knives around the outside. Same way with mine, there's a lot of knives on the outside. Also, this army knife that's got a spoon, a fork, a fork opener, and some just nice knives and scissors on there. It's very good to have, a Swiss Army knife. This is a skinning and fillet knife that I have personally. Another one of Aiden's knives, my multi-tool. So you see, these things double for so much. Try to buy lightweight as much as you can for a lot of this, because you're carrying this on your back, especially in a bug out situation or scenario. You can even put these on your belts. We make sure everything we buy has a way to hook on our bug out bag or hook to a belt. so that way if we ever have to lose some of the things that we're using and we're not needing to carry these big bug out bags anymore, we have a way to hook them on us and we'll be able to utilize them even without the bag. So multi-tools knives, very good to have, is number 4. You like those? Kind of going along with the knives would be the tools. Multi-tools are good to have, but sometimes you have bigger needs. So we have a foldable saw or hatchet that's kind of like this, and then I have a foldable hatchet that I also utilize in our bug out bag. This is a saw. It's almost like a true chainsaw, manual chainsaw, using the paracord in your hands, wrapping around this chain basically around the tree, and then going after it and cutting down whatever you're needing for fire. It's good to have whatever you're needing, a way to cut wood for fire, survival, for shelter, whatever you're needing. It's good to have these kind of tools. This is a little mini auger. A lot of times you can put a tool in here and basically dig right into your ground, and that way if you're needing a hole to put a tent up for shelter, you have a way to do that. So make sure you're adding tools that are bigger than just your regular multi-tool and knife. Hatchets, saws, foldable saws. Tools are underrated. A lot of times we don't think about saws, but saws are one of the most important things we need in a bug out situation, because they, again, can be universal and you can use those for all kinds of things. Number 6 is medical. We've done a medical video. If you've seen that video, a lot of this stuff is abbreviated and put into this small medical bag. So this one hooks to mine. This is mine personally that I put right here on the edge of my bag, hooks to the side there, just with a strap. You can also hook this around your leg. That way if you ever needed to disperse the bigger bag, you can put it right on you and you'd be great. Now these are just emergency blankets, emergency bandages, wet wipes that we carry. Inside here, this is going to be simple band-aids. Carry a lot of our Jace Medical antibiotics. Not familiar with Jace Medical, it also is a way that you can put antibiotics or over-the-counter medicines. We have abbreviated versions of all that in this little medical supply. So make sure whatever your needs and necessities are that you are putting in a medical supply. If you have problem with breathing, you need an inhaler, put extra in there. If you're worried about anaphylactic shock, put things like Benadryls, antihistamines, and EpiPens in there. If you're worried about if you're on some kind of medicine that you're needing to keep dry, put that in there. It's very important that this is going to be more personalized to you, more than being more just universal for everyone to carry. Number 7 is, this is zip ties, paracord. We have several packs of paracord. Some of them are 750 pounds, some of them are 1,000 pounds. We actually have one that's 2,000 pounds. So it is really going to double for a lot. Now, this is what's key. Buy this little knot hint guide. I mean, it's just something you can pick up literally off Amazon. This is a way that teaches you how to make knots. Now, if you are awesome or a Boy Scout or know how to make knots, great. Like Aiden is a phenomenal knot tire. Actually, way better than me. Somehow I always end up with like some kind of stupid little fisherman's knot or some stupid little, like I'm tying my shoe knots. Aiden always does the better knots. But if you struggle with knots, get you a little pro knot guide. You can usually pick these up on Amazon for like $3 or $4. You can pick them up at any, again, camping store. It's good to have because it teaches you ways that you can build knots for whatever you're using, especially when you're in the wilder wilderness. Having good quality paracord, this is just a little of our paracord. We have a ton of it because it is so universal. If you're stringing up hammocks, if you're stringing up tents, if you're stringing up this makeshift shelter, it's good to have. Or say you're suspending your water mugs above your fire. Again, another way to have rope, have ligature, have paracord, have zip ties, have things at your access to make sure they're in your bags and you can utilize them for so many different things. When it comes to bug out, when it comes to survival, when it comes to, if you're just simply camping, having things that can be done and used universal is key. Next would be food. Now these are just things that, this is Ready Hour, so this is bought from My Patriot Supply. We have affiliate link down below. Check them out. We don't like some of the ready-made meals because that means you gotta have water, you gotta have more, you're using your little cantina a lot more. But it may be one of those things that you put the dried fruits, like for instance, we have freeze-dried fruits that we put up in our own Mylar bags. So if you have MREs or you have any kind of freeze-dried food, it's always good to throw in your bag. Dehydrated food, to have something to snack on until you get to the point of where you're building shelter, where you're building fire, and where you're hunting for your own game or your own food, or you're getting other forms of nutrients inside of you. Have some kind of freeze-dried foods, have some kind of dehydrated foods. They're lightweight, you can put them right in there. You can eat a lot of those just as they are, and even in some of these that are more meals made here, you literally, all you have to do is rehydrate with water. So as you boil your water, full meal basically, and they're very nutrient rich, caloric rich. They just lose a lot of their density because of the freeze dried and the dehydration. If you like beef jerky, put beef jerky. If you like, you know, summer sausage, put summer sausage, but ultimately put some kind of form of freeze dried foods or dehydrated foods in your bag because it allows you to eat along the go. I've talked about this with protein bars, granola bars. Anything that's quick and easy and is full of nutrients and calories are good to have for wherever you're going when you're bugging out. Bug out is not a good situation. That means you've done everything you could to stay where you are, and now you're having to go somewhere else. So you need to have some things put in your pack that can get you by, that's got some nutrients, got some calories in it to keep you on the move with some good energy. Number 9 is knowing where you are and navigating yourself around. We have 2 forms of compasses. One is mine, one is Aiden's. You need to know how to get around. Now, one thing we do carry in our bug out bags, right now they're in our bug out supply in our cars, is an atlas. You need to have a way and a means to get across or to get through your city or to get through your county, state, wherever you're at, and know how to do it without a GPS on your phone or on any kind of device. So you need to know how to read a compass and also to work an atlas. Understand the legend, understand how to get to where you're going. So the compasses are key there. Now what this is just a paracord bracelet, but it's universal, it's tactical. It has a whistle on it, also has a little compass on it. Right inside has a little blade on it. Another way to have a compass, but that it goes on you versus going on your bag. Very lightweight, very easy to carry, and it duplicates and is universal for so many different situations. Now lastly, on number 9 is guides. As we were talking about with the atlas, we carry a survival handbook with us and also an edible wild plants book with us. Now these are not our go-tos at our home. We have a whole library full of a lot of those things, but when we're on the go, this is a North American wild edible plant book, and it's pretty good because it has all kinds of ways that you can identify plants and edibles in the wild. Very good to have. This is also a SAS survival handbook reference if you're in the woods. It's got some foraging on not only safety, on animal prints, on identifying snakes, plants. It's just good to have. I'm not recommending this one. I'm not recommending this one. I'm just saying you need to have some kind of reading material in your bags. Make sure you have an atlas, identifying ways to know what you're around, know the surrounding, know the atmosphere that you're in. Don't depend on your phone because it will not always be there in a GPS situation, and you probably don't need it there in a GPS situation anyway. But you also don't have any kind of way to identify using Google. You need books. Put those books in there, make room for it in your bug out supply. It's key to survival. Number 10 is going to be one that most people would think about. This is probably one of my go-tos in first, but I didn't put it in the very first of the video because I don't want to freak you out. But I want you to understand the value of security and taking care of your family. If I'm having to leave this home, this sustainable homestead that we have built, that has all the security and protection built, if there's a reason that we're having to leave that, say we are in our car and we're not where our home is, we are more vulnerable because we have built this house and this farmhouse and this sustainable homestead to know what we need and where we've got those things across this farm and across this land. But in a situation where we don't have that and we're having to bug out, my first line of security is always going to be my firearms. 2 things. I'm carrying a handgun always on me. If you did an everyday carry video just last week, one of the main things I carry on me at all times is a pistol, is a knife. But with that firearm, we want to make sure that we have enough ammo. So I pile extra firearm ammo in my bug out supplies, an extra magazine in our bug out supplies, and then also the gun that I'm carrying on me. Now I want to bring up one more to you. Now this is just a little Kel-Tec Sub 2000. I'm not promoting this by any way, but the reason I want to show you this, Aiden, I want you to break it down so that way they can see the importance of a gun like this. Now this is not loaded. We have no magazines in these guns, so we're very safe. So please know when Aiden is holding this gun, he knows how to hold it. You see these guns are not loaded in any way. There's no magazine in them. Okay, so that is a Kel-Tec Sub 2000. The reason I like this gun, now if I'm talking accuracy and long distance, this is not the gun for that. But just like my pistol and my firearm that I carry on me, my EDC, this is a way that I can fit this in a bag with no problem. If I can put this in my bag, which is right there, and know I have a way to have another firearm on me, it's excellent to have. Now that's not to say I wouldn't have another one strapped across me too, but this is so good because I can put it in my pack, know I'm safe, and I've got other means of security with me. No matter if you like firearms or not, you need to have some kind of security on you. If it be tasers, we talked about this in the everyday carry video. If you're not comfortable with the gun, then use tasers. You have some kind of self-defense items that you need. If it's pepper spray, whatever it is, you need to make sure you're using something for your security other than what you have in your bug out supplies that we've talked about so far. So it's fisting to rain here at the Max. I hope you enjoyed this video. 1 through 10 are just pieces of universal tools that we have in our bug out supply. Aiden's putting them back together. Again, these packs, this is Aiden's right beside, about 40 to 45 pounds. Everything goes in it. Same way with mine. A lot of my axes, a lot of my saws hang on the sides, a flashlight, knife, another axe. All my knives hang on the side. My ammo is going inside here. The main concern is taking care of your family, getting to safety by having food, by having a way to go, knowing where you're going, having security, having safety, having fire, having ways to purify your water. That's things you need to be thinking about. Hope this video helped. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.